Thank you very much. Well, the council on for May will start at 6:30. Ordinary meeting. Welcome, councillors, staff and members and community to the gallery and online. We have a few online today. We have a few councillors who are sick, but they're great to be here, which is fantastic via Zooming. I must remind everyone that in the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, this meeting of Leeton Shire Council is being streamed live on council's social media accounts, and then a recording will be uploaded on council website so you can see it later as well. Please stand while Councillor Kidd leads us through civic repair and Councillor Edwards does acknowledgement country. Councillor Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Leeton Shire Council acknowledges the Wiradjuri people and their continued impact on our community. We acknowledge their connection to the land, water and the sky. We acknowledge all Aboriginal people who have made the Leeton Shire their home. As such, we pay our respects to all Aboriginal elders, past, present and emerging throughout our Shire.
Thank you. Please be seated. Are there any apologies tonight, General Manager?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have an apology for lateness from Councillor Nardi, and we also note for the record that Councillor Tiffin, Councillor Tynan and Councillor Wright are attending the meeting online, and the Code of Meeting Practice requires that to be actually acknowledged and accepted by the council.
Good. Can I have a move and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Morris. Thank you. Put the motion. All aye? Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. The next item is the confirmation of minutes from Tuesday the 6th of May, 2025. Is anyone prepared to confirm the minutes? Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Maiden. Put the motion. All aye? Those against? Carried. Thank you. Procedural motion are the next, and the recommendation is that council accepts in item 8.2.1, that's the budget review for 2024 to 2025 for the quarter review ending March 31st, 2025, and a late report. Can I call for a move and a seconder? Now, do we all know what we're doing?
Yes, please, Mr. Mayor, if I could clarify further, it's a late report and it's specifically the version that's tabled on your tables tonight, or what was emailed to the councillors. There's one particular column, the actual year-to-date column on page 13 of the report has been updated. It was left in as the Q2 version, and it's been updated just to be correct. So that's the only change, and we're just advising you that this version tonight should be the one that's accepted.
Good. So that's the last column on that page. Can I have a move and a seconder that we... Do you need some time to have a quick look? Moved by Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Wright. All right. All and aye. Put the motion. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Disclosure of interest. Now, thank you, councillors, for disclosure of interest. I just want to disclose an interest. I'm going to stay here. In the budget review, at the very end, there is a mention of a contract to my company. It doesn't alter the budget review whatsoever. It just happened to be my name, happened to be in there. It's on the last page. It's a contract for servicing the Roxy. I don't believe it's pecuniary, significant pecuniary or conflict of interest. It's just been noted in there. Is there any other disclosures of interest? Councillor Kidd.
Mr. Mayor, item 8.4.1, Community Strengthening Grant, round 2. I'll declare an interest in that. I'm a registered player of walking soccer Leeton, and I'm also a committee member of Leeton United Football Club, which is sponsoring that application. Mayor.
Councillor Kidd, thank you very much.
Non-pecuniary, a significant non-pecuniary interest.
Right, good.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Right, that's okay. There's no more.
Councillor Tynan.
Oh, Councillor Tyne, have you got one, Councillor Tyne?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I've made my three interests known to the General Manager.
They relate, yes, they relate to the same item. And Councillor Tynan has said he'll just excuse himself from the entire report because there are three items. He's happy to leave the rest of the councillors to determine that report.
Thank you very much. So that's this disclosure of interest dealt with. Good. All right. We'll move on. There'll be no mayoral minute tonight. We'll move directly on to the General Manager's matters, starting with item 8.1.1, the minutes of the Country Mayor's meeting on the 28th of March, 2025, starting off page 7 of your agenda.
Move and second it first.
All right, is anybody prepared to move? By Councillor Morris, second by Councillor Kidd. Any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I was just hoping you might like to abbreviate a little bit further for me. A couple of things I did note, and one I'm just going to go down to page 9, and in particular, it's an inference that recognition that the ability of local government to fund infrastructure and services is obviously becoming more difficult. I've just got a couple of the topics that have been discussed at the conference, and just wonder, are you able to expand on it at all, or just that it was noted and that they're looking into it?
Yes, look, these are very worthwhile meetings, the Country Mayors Association. We meet at the actual New South Wales Parliament. We have the ministers come and talk to us. And we had 3 good talks about, we've had the Honorary Emily Jane Duval, who was the chair of the government inquiry into ability of local government. We also had Auditor General, the new Auditor General, he was there as well. And they also had the chair of IPAR. And they all put it in very particularly recognise that there is a problem with funding local government. They're going to change some of the parameters. They're going to look at some of the parameters. There was how many points were given to Parliament, and they're going to look at those points. But
about 50 submissions.
That's right. And the recommendation coming from that.
I'm sorry, 128 submissions.
Recommendation.
Organisation.
Councillor Morris, I was very pleased that they recognise that funding local government is hard and it needs to be looked at. Parameters need to be looked at, and the general information they gather. That's.
And Mr Mayor, you touched on the other 2 exactly that I had earmarked, was the Auditor General regarding depreciation and the chair of IPART, and just acknowledging that the rate peg is lower than the inflation level and has been for many years, and so why councils are struggling.
Yeah, and Auditor General was looking at another way of doing depreciation, and it's good. It's good that they're looking at it.
So thank you. It sounded like it was worthwhile attendance.
Oh yes,
thank you.
And they all came and talked to us, the mayors, which is good. They didn't shirk their responsibilities.
Can I just ask, Mr Mayor, is there feedback that comes through then when those ministers have considered, or are you waiting next year before that opportunity comes again?
It's a different topic every meet that we get together. This one was happened to be about funding local government. They did promise us a few reports.
Through the mayor, I was unable to attend this meeting, but of course the topic is of high interest.
Yeah.
And certainly the Auditor General is showing very sympathetic signals towards local government and seems to be working very closely with the Office of Local Government and the Minister of Local Government to make sure that all the unnecessary impediments that we have to face from a reporting point of view are removed. So there's a lot of understanding there. There's also been a change in the Financial Assistance Grants Committee that divvies up the financial assistance grants for New South Wales, and the signal is that they will be looking at a greater proportion of the grants coming to rural and regional areas. That, of course, hasn't played out yet, but that's the signal that we're getting. So I'm hoping that the grants will go up more for regional areas. So that's the kind of follow up that they're giving us, is they're giving us a steer of where they're heading. But of course, we only celebrate when it finally happens.
Well, it's encouraging, at least.
Yes.
They're identifying and
Bottom line,
highlighting it.
it's very, very encouraging.
And we also, in the past, through all the advocacy, IPART, even IPART agrees that the formula and the methodology has not been correct over all these years, but they've at least tried to address those people that are experiencing exceptional population growth and people with very high needs. Councils with very high needs are getting rate pegging that's particular to their council. They used to just do a broad brush approach for everyone. Now every single council is given an independent look, and if there's a particularly compelling need, they will get a higher proportion than most. So there is, I suppose it's
A willingness.
yes, but it's inch by inch or millimetre by millimetre. We look forward to some bigger decisions being made that will make a real big difference.
Well, thank you. But if we're not there and part of the picture, we've got no hope of
No.
carrying our banner. So
No, that's right. And the willingness was to do something. Something needs to be done, which is great. We have to wait time as what has to be done, but they do understand that.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
representation, Mr Mayor, at that conference. I was curious, there's a statement here from Mr Steve Lone, who asked the Auditor General about cost shifting of 1.6 billion. What is your view? Should we invoice the state government? What sort of answer did you get back on that one?
We had a bit. We all had a bit of a laugh. We never actually answered it, but I think we took it the way it was taken. You know? No, it's a very good forum. I might just bit of background. Back in the old days, there were two associations, one for the country, one for the city. They decided to come together and have one voice. Parliament, that was okay, but the country voice was being drowned out. So the country mayors have got together as an association, and it's growing. It's up to 100 now, of close to 98, like that, you know. Yeah. But it's good to get together. We can get ideas of each other, and we can, as a force, we can actually talk to. The last one was on health. Judges attended. This one was on sustainability of local government. So it's good. We have a voice. I think we've got one in Orange about roads coming up. All right. So we had to move in the second, didn't we, for that? And we had a question. If there's no more questions, all in favour? Aye. Those against? Carry. Thank you very much. Right. The next one is 8.1.2, minutes of Ramjo. It's on page 23. And do I have someone move recommendation? Councillor Kidd, second by Councillor Mason. Thank you. Is there any discussion on Ramjo? Yes.
If I may ask a question through you to the General Manager, Mr Mayor. I'm going to page 29 in the actual meeting minutes. And hold on, it's a bit slow rolling over.
There's a lot to go through.
Yes. Water Subcommittee recommendation that the board write a letter to IPART and ministers regarding concern over impact of water charge increases of 184% to Murray River region and 140% to Murrumbidgee River region, and associated impacts concerning cost of living crisis for Ramjo townships and small scale farmers. I note that you've seconded that, Mr. Mayor. I was just wondering if there's an explanation for that, because I'm assuming that means that the price we buy water from Water New South Wales will be going up, and therefore water charges will be going up, and they certainly don't look anything like a rate peg amount to me. I just want to
General Manager,
clarify.
chair of that subcommittee. I was just going through this.
Yeah.
General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Everyone is quite shocked at we all know that it's going to cost more to run most services. So we're expecting something of an increase from Water New South Wales for the delivery of water, because they run the dams and they're the ones that release the water down the rivers. And the impact on farmers is really going to be quite significant, and we don't even probably fully comprehend the potential impact on us as local water utilities. So of course, we don't deal with Water New South Wales directly because we get our water via Murrumbidgee irrigation, but no doubt they will cop an increase, and then those additional charges will be passed on to us. I have, however, heard that there has been a lot of advocacy, just as you see here, against those water prices. I can triple check tomorrow and then let you know, but it's my understanding that there's been some reconsideration of this level of increase. I don't know if Councillor Morris, have you heard anything different through your work environment? But I'm certainly happy to check the status of it, but a lot of people are jumping up and down because it's a massive impact.
Yeah, it hadn't been telegraphed any other way, and this is certainly first I knew about it.
I haven't seen any correspondence come through, no,
No.
General Manager.
Once again, Ramjo is, as you know, a Riverine and Murray joint organisation of council. Another way we can get together in numbers to get information across to the right people. Okay. Right, so we had a move and a second. We've had some discussion. Any more questions, Councillor Edward?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Just for you, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted some clarification around agenda item number 9.1 financial fee model. It's saying it's referring to attachment 9.1 of the fees that were adopted. Do we have any idea what those fees are and what the other scenario was? Can we not discuss that?
No, we can discuss that. We can definitely discuss that. So the fees for small councils like ourselves is $30,000 per annum, is the forecast fee for the 25-26 financial year.
And was there a difference between scenario 1 and scenario 2?
The scenario, I can't remember all the scenarios in detail. But at the end of the day, I think it was on the lower end. But I'll triple check with you for you 100%. But it's really about, we had to get as many councils as possible agreeable with the fee increase. When Ramjo was first set up, the Office of Local Government provided some establishment funding of, I think, in the order of $150,000. But of course, over the years, the Office of Local Government funding's dried up, and now it's up to all the member councils, and their 10 member councils to contribute to the operations of Ramjo. The main philosophy that's followed is that for business as usual, general stuff that we're involved in, we contribute an annual fee. But if you want to buy into any particular projects that Ramjo is doing, for example, when we did the PPA for large site electricity purchasing, we did together with Ramjo. You can opt in and opt out, and then if you're going to do an opt-in thing, you might need to pay towards the procurement costs of that. But the base fee is $30,000 per annum.
Okay. That's all that's there.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Councillor Tiffin has her hand.
Councillor Tiffin. Councillor Tiffin, did you have your hand up?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I might have just been, I don't
That's
know,
okay.
waving.
No problem. Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I'm sorry. I'm
Waving.
trying to keep an eye on the screen at the same time. And
I know, I appreciate it.
and we've got people beside me pointing it out, so I apologise.
That's okay.
Right, so we've right, so we had a move in a seconder, and we had discussions. All in favour? Aye. Those against? Thank you. Our next item is corporate matter, has been a late report, item 8.2.1, 2024-25 budget review for the quarterly ending 31st of March 2025 is a separate document. Have you all got that first?
Have you jumped to Mr. Mayor?
I want to make sure everybody's got it for a start. It's a late talk.
Oh, that's all right. We're both together.
It's just an attachment. Yes. Right? Yeah. Right. No, I assume that we have it, right, yeah. Our friend.
Yeah, me too.
They had big meeting in this afternoon.
Zoom councillors, you've got that email to you. I take it, are you good? Thank you very much. All right, so can I call for a move and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Nardi. Did you move it? Councillor, good. And a seconder, please? Councillor Kidd. Thank you. Any discussion? Yes, Councillor.
Sorry, just a quick question. This email came through quite late today, yes?
Yes, the report came to you on Friday.
Yep.
There's just one column of numbers that changed, which we reported earlier, which is on page 13. And it's the right-hand column, year-to-date actuals, but it doesn't impact, there's no changes to any of the QBR numbers. We just corrected a column on the far right-hand side. Thanks to Councillor Morris for alerting us to it.
Yep, which one was it that was changed? Apologies, sorry.
The far right-hand
On
column,
page
the whole column.
Page
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No, thank you. I just wanted to make sure, just because I was at work and
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see that the last the change that had come through. So
It's just that the last quarterly budget review was accidentally left in there and updated it. Yeah.
no, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, any more discussion?
Through the mayor to the GM.
Yes, Councillor Totten.
I'm just curious about the first KPI graph. 2025 has taken quite a dive down from the previous 3 years. I'm just wondering if we can just get a bit of background to that. It's on page 22.
Councillor Totten, what page is that, please?
22.
Page 22.
Page 22.
The iPad, it's different, but
So,
I've got a page 20.
so it's page 16 of the ones on your table and
Yeah.
page 22 out of 24 of the report.
Yeah, so-
May I refer this to the Director of Corporate to respond to? Did you get the question?
Page number
16.
first graph, right?
It's the operating performance ratio graph.
That's number 9, page 16.
Yep.
First one, right, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, so the graph shows, Councillor, our operating performance excluding the capital grants. So as we have seen from the last 3 or 4 years, the operating revenue has not been enough to cover the operating expenditure. So that is why this graph is gone down. So which is reflected in our operating deficits also, which we have been reporting throughout.
Through the mayor to Gemma, and one more question.
Yes.
You go one page further down, you have borrowings. I was just wondering how many lots have been sold in Advance Estate. I haven't heard much about that recently.
through you, Mr. Mayor, our Director of Economic and Community Development's online. Michelle, would you be able to just update us on how the sales at Vance Estate are going, please?
Yes, so at the moment we've got 5 confirmed sales and another 3 in the pipeline, but they obviously can't settle until such time as we complete the subdivision.
Thank you. Through the mayor to the GM, just the final one, number 11. There's 2 cleaning contracts that come up to around 2.3 million. I'm just wondering what buildings are being cleaned. It just seems like quite a lot, that's all.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. These cleaning contracts extend over 5 years, and the contracts are split into 2 effectively. I'll call them indoor and outdoor. So the office complex here, museum, library, Roxy, visitor information centre, those are all the sorts of things. LEL's, I think LELC is separate. Sorry, I'll take that one back. That would all fit into the indoor one, and that cleaning happens several times a week, not too many, probably 2 or 3 times a week. There's a cleaning regime that's followed. And then all the other ones, so that's the Elizabeth Jane Taylor does all the inside cleaning services, and the outside ones, toilet, cemetery, 5-Bow wetlands, stadiums, all of those kind of places. That's the second contract. And there's also a cleaning regime. And but each of them extends for 5 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ty. Any more items to discuss the motion? Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Probably directing it, Mr. Mayor, to the Director of Corporate. I'm looking at the consolidated operating result, which is on page 6. A review statement. And it's probably just touching base, and I think I know where it is heading, but it's just regarding to our
Sorry to interrupt. Through you, Mr. Mayor, the sound cut out when you said the page number, Councillor Morris.
Oh, yes, sorry, page 6.
Thank you very much.
It's just looking at the consolidated operating result, just with the grants with operating, and I noticed we've got a revised budget of 8.5 million, and we've only actual to date's about 2.5. Look, I know we've still got another quarter of the year to go through, and the rest seem to be in line, the matching about that. That was just one that stood out, and the other grants, which are capital. I understand at the end of the day, they have no direct result on our operating surplus or deficit, but I'm assuming it's just things like our financial, our FAGS grants, financial assistance grants and things that usually come in the May-June period. So I'm just asking for clarification, I guess, more than anything. Is that correct?
That's right, through Mr. Mayor. So we'll receive the FAGS money in June, so that's where close to 5.5, 6 million. So we don't know the number yet.
Yes.
So that will bump up that operating grant number.
Okay, so that'll then have an impact on those grants in our.
That's right.
And then what we can do going forward in the next 12 months.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, Councillor Morris. Any more questions in regard to the budget review? If not, we had a move and a seconder. I'll put the motion. All in favour? Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you very much. Our next item is 8.2.2, the investment report for April 2025, starting on page 40 of the agenda. Do you have someone? Well, thank you. Moved by Councillor Kidd, seconded by Councillor Morris. Are you moving the recommendation? The council notes the information contained in the investment report for April 2025. Any discussion? Councillor Abrams.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I just want to note that because my docs on tap is not working, I'm using the agenda available to the public. The first page of that motion is missing.
Is it?
Yep. Oh, no, don't worry.
Let's have a look on page, is it 35?
Page 35.
Sounds like you
Yes.
said page 14.
I did.
Hurry up.
35.
It might be my
But sometimes though.
information I got here. It's 40, right? Okay.
35, Mr. Mayor.
35.
Apologies.
All right, good. Right.
So the new.
My apologies. I've given you the wrong one. All right, we've had a discussion. Move a seconder. All in favour? Aye, those against? Thank you very much. Our next item is 8.2.3, the review, code of meeting practice, code of conduct, procedures, administration, code of conduct, starting on page, what page have we got? I've got 52 in front of me. 47, right, yeah. I've just got a bit of a cheat sheet in front of me, so, all right, so has everybody got there?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, good. Do I have a move in a second? Good. Move in a second, moved by councillor Kidd, second by councillor Madam. That's the recommendation given to staff in front of you. All right, any discussion?
Mayor, if I could just say, we've been waiting for the minister to come out with his revised codes, but the Office of Local Government has recommended that, because we have to meet a compliance date with this, that we go with what's basically been before, and we might have to bring these back to you within the first 2 months of the new financial year, once they're released. This is to meet the deadline, the compliance deadline of it was the 30th of June. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Councillor Edwards, had a question?
I was just about to say the exact same as the general manager. I do think these code of conducts are a little bit out of date, so I'm looking forward to when the minutes.
Yes.
That's, so yes.
All right, so good, thank you. Any more further discussion? Councillor Kidd?
Question arising from what both the general manager and councillor Edwards said. So does that mean that once we get a new suite from the ministry, that we put that out for 28 days again?
Yes, well, and it would come back here first, because you'd have to adopt it first as a draft before it goes back out to the public.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Very bureaucratic.
Any more discussion in regard to? Being no further discussion, all in favour? All right, those against? Carried, thank you very much. Our next item is 8.2.4, the policy review, May 2025, starting on page
164, Mr. Mayor.
164. 164. The recommendations in front of you from staff. Do I have a mover and a seconder?
Just
Mover.
Mr. Mayor, just a moment.
Be quick for us.
It's the policy review, 8.2.4.
Puppets don't quite know smooth that catching up. Yep.
What that?
8.4.
We're just getting onto some of the ones.
Oh, right.
Thing to that page because it was a big jump.
Yeah, right, yeah. Sorry, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
164. Thank you, councillor.
happy with that, Mr. Mayor. I'll move.
I take it there's a mover from councillor Edwards, that's right? Good. And second by councillor Kidd. All right, good. We had a mover and a seconder. Any discussion? Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I feel like I just a bit longer speech, hence why I'm standing up. I just want to draw attention to the social media policy review, and that is on page 60. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. Page 178 down to 4.2, which is in regards to posting.
All right, I just wait, councillor Edwards.
I understand that this is going out to the public, to the community to consult on. It's my understanding if we pass this motion tonight. I just want to raise some concerns around the editing of the draft and also the parameters. So maybe this is more turning into a question in the comment in regards to the turning off of comments on council social media posts after a period of time. I just want to get an understanding of why there's it's all been highlighted, and then there's a line through most of that, and then there's a new sort of paragraph there. I guess I'm also a little bit concerned about the ramifications of that, denying people the right to respond to council posts and council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So what's highlighted in yellow and crossed out, that used to be there.
Okay, that used to be.
So the staff are recommending that the crossed out business will come out, and it'll be replaced with the yellow at the bottom that's not crossed out. And the reason that we have a need to have that capacity is that we can actually be sued if we are not watching social media posts that have legal implications, and if we allow them on our site. I might not be using all the right language, but just perhaps Terry can help me with some words, but we actually can be in trouble. So you'll find that most organisations that are looking after social media will, after a number of weeks or days, say this post is now closed for comment because we don't have the resources to manage it, because we can't. It's a legal risk for council if there are derogatory comments or comments of a legal nature that could get us into trouble through vicarious liability.
Defamation law wasn't mine. I didn't do that.
All right, Councillor Edwards, okay.
I make it.
Councillor Tyne, did you have a hand up?
Yeah, through the mayor to the GM, I'm just wondering what a fair time is. You just mentioned days or a few weeks there. I just think as a policy document, it should specify, deleted after 1 month or some period of time. Is there a reason why a period of time hasn't been specified?
Mr. Mayor, I think it really relates to the capacity of the communications coordinator to monitor. So if we're going through a crazily busy period where there's lots of things to monitor, we might switch some things off. Whereas if it's not such a busy period, then there's more capacity to actually monitor what's happening. So that's why we gave it some latitude. But if council would like to limit it to a certain time, then that's a possibility too. We do find that social media is not always about informing people, and sometimes it's actually about promoting council. And in those situations, it's quite good to have things running for as long as possible, because then it gets more traction. There's certain posts that actually take off unexpectedly. I wonder if the comms coordinator would like to say anything more around that.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just to provide a bit more context about why it was crossed out, because I'm actually strongly for having comments turned on, and it actually favours the Facebook and Instagram algorithm, actually, if we have conversations happening underneath our posts. And that was really just, in case, like, if it's business as usual, I have absolutely enough resources to respond to everyone. But if we ever come to a time where we're getting, suddenly we're getting hundreds of comments a day, then obviously it's a different story. But in general, all for it, and it really actually benefits us, because the more conversation that happens, the more people come across it, the better community is informed.
Councillor Tynan, was that your answer?
Yeah, just had one thing. I mean, I would have thought that with all of this technology in the world these days, you can simply put a closed down date and then just archive whatever it is.
Unfortunately, not that easy, because you can either have it turned off across the board, across all our pages, or you'd have to manually find each individual post and then do it, on an individual level. So that would be quite time-consuming.
Thank you. I'm actually quite surprised by that.
All right. Any further discussion, Councillor Morris?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, mine just drawing to the community grants paper, and I know what is listed in there at 3.6, which is on page 172. We do say the successful applicants community grants and the quick response grants. The successful applicants may be requested to attend a council meeting or workshop to speak regarding their achievement. But I feel we've always put that in there, and I know we do acknowledge it through media, but it's a lot of years since we've actually asked them to come along and actually give us a 3-minute, type presentation to understand where these grants that we have given to them for a community event or a community activity. It would be really nice to hear their feedback on how it did help and for them to bring that event or activity to fruition, seeing it is the ratepayers' money that is part of that.
Yes.
So I just think, and we've put it in there covering it, but I think we need to endorse that and actually follow through.
Enforce it, yes. Go, Councillor Tyne, did you have your hand up?
Agree with that.
Okay, I think you're muted. That's it.
Just in regards to that last point, I'll ask the Director, Michelle Evans, to please make sure that happens. Michelle, please. Thank you.
And I don't want anything, I don't think the council's expect anything onerous, just a short presentation to acknowledge that, yes,
That's good.
that others in the community can understand then the benefits. Thank you.
Did Councillor Tyne, did you have a hand up?
Yes, I did. I'm just looking at my notes and page 186 in section 4.3, there was a part, I apologise, I've got my things mixed up, but what I wanted to raise it was about unpleasant posts where the general manager and various people would be discussed. I just thought at some point, if there are comments about councillors, that councillors should also be consulted in those matters.
No, it is, Terry.
Item 3 on page 186.
What's the page again?
186.
186. Point.
It says if there's a comment that's critical of council, including councillors, staff, services, staff must seek advice from the relevant Director of Comms and written approval must be obtained from the General Manager. So councillors would be, so there certainly would be some sort of attempt at making sure that any posts that are critical of council, we get critical posts all the time. So our normal response is to determine how critical that critical post is to respond to. For the most part, we don't generally respond. But if it's going to spread misinformation, or if it's going to cause a lot of yes, what's the thing when when it's going to create a whole lot of a whirlwind of responses, then we might respond. But most of our information, we only like to give facts and not opinions. That's the way we generally work. So from this point of view, we believe there needs to be some sensitivity in responding. So we don't want just anyone responding to those kind of posts.
Yeah, I understand that. I just thought that if posts are critical of councillors, that there should also be a little mention in there that the relevant councillor will be also consulted, that's all.
Okay, yes, we can add that in.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, any more further discussion?
So are these policies, are they mandated by the, I'm going to get my everything confused now, Office of Local Government? Like, how the council, like the code of conduct and mandates to us, and we can choose.
Yes.
These sort of policies also, especially social media, or?
Social media policies are just recommended. It's not, we get a code, you actually get a model code of conduct and a model code of meeting practice. We are required under statute to have a community engagement strategy, but the social media policy, to my knowledge, it's not a statutory responsibility, but it's a best practice.
I just wanted.
Yeah.
Thanks, Councillor Edwards. Councillor Tiffin.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to clarify though, is our general position that we, you know, we don't want to stifle debate, even if sometimes it gets a little bit heated. And we just want to respond when it's the most appropriate so that we can help people have the right information. We're not trying to shut discussion down, obviously.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, councillor Tiffin?
Thank you. Yep, thanks.
No, any further discussion? All right, all four against? All four? Good, against? Carry, good. 8.2.5, annual fees are payable for council to mayor, additional fees. Moved.
Mr. Mayor, what happened to 8.2.4?
We just discussed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Yep, time warp. Sorry.
That's okay, that's okay.
We
I have a move of councillor Knighty and Nathan.
What page are we on, please, Mr. Mayor?
Page
218.
218.
218.
So, yeah, your recommendation, councillor Knighty?
Yes, I'm moving if I can.
Yeah.
With moving with the option for a variation in options 1 and 2.
Yeah. What are they?
I would like to propose an option and see what people think with the councillors. That in option 1 sets the annual councillor fee payable for the period of 1st July 2025 to 30th June 2026. The option 1 that was at hand was 18,890 as determined by the local government. I'd like to propose that we don't accept that and we put an option of 14,500, which would be less than half.
The recommendation is that you want to put that in there, right? Yeah. And
then on option 2, sets the annual mayoral additional fee payable for the period 1st July 2025 to the 30th of June 2026. It is stated that 40,530, and I'd like to propose a variation of 32,000 units. And I'd like to suggest that.
And number 3?
That it stays the same.
All right, we'll have to move in a second there.
So, Mr. Mayor, may I just clarify the use of the word? So it's the option, it's not an option, it's you're moving, just to clarify for the secretarial services here, you're moving a motion that council sets the annual councillor fee payable at 14,500 and the mayoral fee at 32,000. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just on a note there, I do believe that the tribunal will be taking this out of our hands as of next year instead of giving us the option to accept this or decline this. That as of 2026, that it's going to be set in stone. Am I correct?
Not to my knowledge.
Your knowledge, okay. What you said?
There is, General Manager, there is a full review scheduled for next year. So
yeah,
so
who would know?
That could be
know the outcome for that. That's only every 2nd or 3rd year, by the way.
All right, I've got a on the table here. We've got a recommendation put forward by councillor Knighty, seconded by councillor Mason. Any discussion? Do you want to speak to the motion, councillor Knighty?
Yes, I'm happy to.
All right.
As I've been in council for the last 8 years, I duly noted that in the last 3 years we haven't accepted a increase, and we only accepted the CPI last year. I believe that the workload has definitely gotten busier. We're at council more meetings, more reading hours, more commitment than we had previously in the years. Obviously, the community is very important, and it's in our hands. In most jobs, everyone does get an annual increase, and I think that we've been doing really well to not accept it. But I believe now that we deserve the increases. I believe that the workload and the community engagement has significantly grown. Sometimes when you work full time, you run your own business or work for someone else, you still need to find the time to sit and read and process this job in hours that it can exceed into late times of the nights. I know, just speaking for myself, and I know 2 other councillors in the room have had some, have had some pretty heavy personal things that have happened in our life, and it's made it a little bit harder, but it doesn't mean that we have to give up on the community, even though some of those things have have come to light and it's made our lives a little bit harder, it still doesn't mean that we need to stop working. It is very hard, but it is what it is. And I feel that we do deserve it, and we look after our community very well, and it's just.
Thank you. Right. Do I have anybody who want to speak against the motion? Councillor Edwards.
Mr. Mayor, am I speaking against the motion to replace option 2?
The motion on the table is as what the
The amended motion.
That was Councillor Nadia. So
Councillor Nadia, the motion is in front of it. The original recommendations from staff to us, right? And what Councillor Nadia has done is she's endorsed those 3 points, put a figure in 14.5 for councillors and 32 for the mayor. Nothing else changes on that recommendation. You've got a question?
So that's how the
around procedure, then a question around that, because there's an option I would prefer that I'd like to put towards that. So this is probably not time to. I'm unsure how to.
You can do an amendment, or you can foreshadow a motion.
I'd like to foreshadow a motion. So, Mayor, that we adopt as the motion option 2 of council that applies a 3% increase only to term by the tribunal to the previous result. My reasoning behind this is that we are facing certain pressures and facing certain pressures around cost of living, other things, and also too, we know that rates are going to increase this year as well. And to ask for anything more than a 3%, for me, I don't think it's conscionable to be taking a relatively major pay rise compared to what we're earning now.
All right. Actually, it's an amendment you're putting forward. That's okay. Yeah. But you need a seconder for your amendment. Do you want to? You got a seconder for your amendment? Councillor Tynan, second to the amendment. Right, yeah.
To you, Mr. Mayor, can you just? I'm starting to feel a bit confused.
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
Councillor Edwards, you're changing point 2, or point 1, or point 2, or point 3?
I do apologise. I'm doing all of this without my notes that I had.
So
No, it's just the process.
Not coming up.
Hang on, I'll just talk to the general manager. 2 seconds.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, Councillor Edwards's amendment is 12,507 for the councillor fee and 27,302 for the mayoral fee.
Oh, so you actually asked for status quo to stay the same?
No, it's a 3%.
Oh, 3%, sorry, 3%.
And how do we, like there's an initial recommendation and then Sandra's suggested an alternative and now Boston suggested another alternative.
Remember the recommendation is only put forward by staff, and then the council will actually move that particular recommendation or not. And the council Nadia moved the recommendation from staff but changed the figures.
Yep.
14.5 and 32. Councillor Edward is foreshadow a amendment to that by saying it wants it to be 3%. And if you can give us the actual figures,
Yes.
which are
12,507. So it should be on the screen behind you.
yeah.
And 27,302.
27.3. So Councillor Edward is proposing a lesser amount in those figures, but everything else stays the same. We're talking about the figures. So Councillor Edward has moved amendment and Councillor Tynan has seconded it. Can you have someone speak against?
So, Mr. Mayor, before we do, we got to first get a vote to make the amendment, the motion. Yeah.
It's councillor.
Councillor Edwards' amendment. Councillor Nadi's was not an amendment. She moved the motion from the floor. The staff recommendation was not moved. Yeah.
No, so we have to get I thought just go straight to the amendment, don't we? No, we get an okay for the amendment.
You've got to get we've got to move to make the amendment the motion. Yep.
All right. Do I have a move and a second to make the amendment the motion?
No, we've done that. That's been moved and seconded. Now we've got to vote for the amendment to become the motion.
All right.
Sorry, if we
Before you debate
I
it,
just wondered.
I thought we just got
Edward,
into
yeah.
the amendment.
so
Yeah.
and if we don't agree, can I just ask if we don't agree, then we go it
We
reverts
go back to Councillor Nardi's motion.
right.
We're going to vote that the amendment
becomes the motion. Yeah. So you're not voting for
we're not
the
voting for it.
numbers.
We're just going to say
Voting.
what we're trying to do. We're going to vote whether Councillor Edwards' motion is going to be debated first.
First,
Have we got a seconder?
We already had the mover and second.
Councillor Tyne.
Or we have, right?
So we're just going to vote now?
The vote.
We're going to vote whether the 12.5 and the 27. All in favour? Those against? Declare the amendment lost. Now we move on to Councillor Nardi's motion. I'll move straight to the vote. Any more discussion?
do we need to?
Or- Pardon, Councillor Tiffin?
Oh no, sorry, I'm just finding it very hard to follow the
All right.
process. But
What's
do
in
we?
front of you now, Councillor Tiffin and everybody else, is the original motion, which is moved by Councillor Nardi, and the figures are 14.5 for councillors and 32 for the mayor. Are we all
Are we
we all
discussing
understand
it?
that?
Yep. And
All right.
Through you,
There's
Mr.
no
Mayor.
If there's no more, is there any more discussion?
Just a comment. I think
Yeah.
there's discussion.
Councillor Maton. You want,
I'm not sure if there was someone there first, but I do want to make a comment, but I'm happy to go to
Yeah.
those that were on the screen waiting first.
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Wright.
The procedural point, I believe Councillor Tiffin did not hear when you asked if we wanted to continue the discussion or go straight to the vote. But Councillor Tiffin did say that she wanted to discuss it. So I believe she should be next and then Councillor Maton. I'm not putting my hand up to discuss it. Thank you.
Oh,
yes,
right. It's not,
yeah.
Tiffin.
Thank you, Councillor Wright, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I was trying to ask if we were going to discuss it, because we haven't talked about the recommendation that is in the papers. So that's superseded by Councillor Nardi's motion, if that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And we don't need to discuss it. We can just vote on it. Is that correct?
You can discuss the councillor. We can discuss it. We'll discuss it. You have any questions? Councillor Tiffin?
I mean, all I think is that, yeah.
Hang on, Councillor Tiffin. If you've got any questions, if not, if you're going to talk for the motion or against the motion. So who've got any questions?
I think I've got a comment, and I think that
All right.
in the broader sense, in terms of equity, we need to pay councillors in recognition of the work they do, and if we don't provide some reasonable stipend, then people who may not have enough, people might be deterred from standing for council, and so the broadest vision is that we have a situation where all kinds of people feel comfortable and able to commit the time and the work to council, which is the reason why I think, raising the amount is reasonable, all things considered, notwithstanding we understand the community, there's financial issues within all communities, including ours. And Councillor Nardi's amendment or motion seems like a reasonable middle ground, especially for people who've been on council for a long time now and have.
Councillor Tiffin, I just got to I'm sorry. I think you're talking to the motion actually, rather than asking a question of it. But I might come back to Councillor Tiffin, because we've had a mover. And we need a seconder, and we've had someone speak for it. Only someone speak against the motion. Are you speaking against the motion, Councillor Tyner?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll speak against it.
Right.
As publicly elected people doing this job, all of us, I think, in this room have a full-time job. It's in our full-time job and our workplace enterprise agreements that wage growth is accounted for. I don't think there's much necessity for any wage growth in the job that we do here. I think a CPI of 3% or whatever it was that Councillor Edwards proposed is fair. This is not our wage, our primary employment place. And I think it's, to me, it's unconscionable. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, I had to speak against the motion. Someone speak for the motion? All right, Councillor Maton. Councillor, right, sorry, Councillor Maton just beat you. All right, go ahead, Councillor Maton.
Just, yeah, speaking to that, I think what Councillor Nardi has proposed is that good middle ground. Obviously, the recommendation come in several $1,000s higher. I don't think that would be fair for us to take that. But I agree with Councillor Tiffin's comments in terms of, I think by taking the increase, it broadens, I guess, the types of people that might be attracted to the role of councillor. Whilst we do that with our community, being community minded, I think we need to keep in mind that, you know, we would like to have a broader range of people around the table, and that, you know, includes, you know, single income workers, those from lower income backgrounds. It might be young mothers, and they may not be able to afford to give up their caregiving responsibilities, but they'd like to put up their hand to sit around this table. I think if we look at fair compensation reflecting the role's responsibilities, I think our councillors and mayors are simply not here just to attend ceremonies and important events. We're doing things like overseeing complex budgets, engaging with the community and stakeholders, spending countless hours attending meetings, responding to community concerns, as well as driving long-term strategic initiatives. Inadequate pay sends the message that this critical work is undervalued and discourages potential candidates from maybe putting their hand up. I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't think we're jumping right to the very top there. I think it really is a good middle ground, but I'd really like to speak to the mayoral amount. I think the amount of work that yourself, Mr. Mayor, has to do, and how you can maintain that, and I don't know that you do, and I'm not questioning that, with either full-time employment would be very difficult, and I don't think the mayoral role is adequately compensated. I think what happens is that it's probably people would be deterred by for putting up their hand for that role because there is no compensation that would match the amount of hours that you would do. So in particular, the mayoral role, I think, really needs adequate compensation, even more so than the councillor role.
Yes, I think I'm in the position I can't say much. Now,
Mr. Mayor?
sorry, Councillor Tynan, you only can speak once on the motion. I'm sorry.
I'd like to make an amendment.
Wait. Need a seconder.
What did it say? The amendment.
What the amendment is?
In light of the arguments by Councillor Maton Nardi, I would like to amend that the full amount in the recommendation be applied in order to attract more people to the job and increasing diversity on council representation.
Well, do we have a seconder? Do you understand, Councillor, do you understand what we're talking about? Going back to the staff recommendation, which was the full amount.
Yes, it seems to me that the strength of the arguments that have been supporting Councillor Nardi's case have been to attract people to the job in the future. And it seems to me if that's the motivation, then why just discount it down to a minor amount? Why not just go with the recommendation by the council?
I have to ask the move to seconder if your amendment is okay to put it before. Are you happy, Councillor Nardi and Councillor?
That doesn't matter.
No, he's moving, just to clarify, councillor Tyler's moved a amendment, but we have, did you get a seconder? Or
We have to get a.
you have to get a seconder for that for a start. Got a seconder? I'm sorry, it's lapsed. All right, sorry. So we're back to the original motion in front of you. And we had somebody speak against it. I need someone to speak against the motion. All right. Does any other council want to speak for the motion? No. And right, oh, hang on, Councillor Wright, you want to speak for the motion?
I'd just like to add my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I believe that people should get paid based on the capability that they bring to the job. It's not about number of hours, although I will say that my full-time salaried job is 70 hours a fortnight, and I've calculated that with all of the council stuff I do and the other volunteer activities I do on a very regular basis, that my fortnightly working hours are about 105 hours. So I don't feel bad about being compensated a little bit more for my time. Basically, I mean, most of us are working class people. So rather, like, it's not just about a future, attracting people in the future. I could use that time in a paid second job to make money if I wanted to. And this allows me to just about make the average Australian salary when it's added up, when this honorarium is added to my other income from my paid work. So I don't really think that we need to justify our getting paid for our work. I mean, I've calculated I'm roughly getting paid a similar amount per hour for doing this work as I do for the other work that I do. So it's not really about, for me, it's not about what rates are rising or anything like that. Historically, I think this role has been underpaid. So I think that the compromise that Councillor Nardi has come up with, it reflects perhaps the significance of our council. The 18,000 and something is the maximum amount, and our council fits in a range. It's not the same as every other council in that range. So I personally think that this shouldn't be up to councils. I think that it'd be much easier if they just set it at a state level and did a calculation like they do for everything else. But at the same time, I'm happy to go with the compromise amount from Councillor Nardi. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. Councillor Tiffin, I did actually cut you off. Did you want to just, could we now talking for the amendment? And so go ahead, Councillor Tiffin.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I mean, I'm probably just going to try to remember what I said and repeat it, but basically that I hear what Nick is saying, and I agree that, you know, it's a complex role. There's a lot to learn. It's quite time consuming. If you want to do it properly, it's a lot of hours in the background. It's not just the meetings and the things that the public see, particularly because there's quite a number of councillors who are on council at the moment who've done this work for a very long time and have foregone, you know, rises in the stipend for various honourable reasons. And I think that, the compromise amount allows us to recognise the work we do, set some kind of benchmark for future for the people who might feel they're able to put their hat in the ring, but also sends a signal to our community that we're not, you know, signing off on the most we can get. So yeah, the compromise amount sounds sensible to me. It's difficult deciding what to pay yourself, in a public role. And I think it will be easier and probably more, it'll be easier for councillors, and there'll probably be more integrity and sort of equity if it's taken out of our hands. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tiffin. All right, we had everybody speak. Have you got a question?
Motion beforehand.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'll just clarify. The motion is, as you see in front of you, and it's the figures that changed. Not changed, the figures put forward by Councillor Nardi. So in point 1, it reads 14,500. And in point 2, the mayor is 32,000. So we all know what we're voting for. Yeah, good.
Did you ask for people who are going to speak against?
I've already done that, and you,
My hand up.
but you spoke against it once.
Wasn't that for your amendment?
No, I think you spoke. No, Councillor, well, I'll just double check. Yeah, I'm just trying to think myself. Yeah, because you put forward.
Had asked.
I think you have spoken for it. You had an amendment, and you spoke.
You spoke.
You spoke for you. Yeah, asked for people against the amendment. This particular one. I thought you spoke.
Councillor Tony, there was has Councillor Edwards spoken? Councillor Edwards hasn't spoken again.
Anybody?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want.
Apologise, Councillor Edwards.
Oh, good. The reason why I don't think we should be supporting this recommendation is that based on the argument that we're not attracting talent and different candidates, we had good talent. I reckon we had good candidates who ran for the election, and across the state, I'm sure there was plenty of good candidates. And the vast majority of candidates aren't running because they can see the pay pack or aren't really basing on the pay pack. They're basing it on public service. And for me, public service is about ensuring that we get best value for the community. And I feel at this stage, I can't support this because we are asking for the community to put their hands in their pockets a bit more when we increase rates, but we're putting more money into our own pockets. That's my personal opinion. I'm probably crossing some sort of line there, but yeah, I just can't support this in good conscience. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I understand, Councillor Edwards. All right, I think we've all spoken for and against this particular motion. Do we all understand the motion in front of us? It's up on the screen there. All right. All in favour of the motion? Those against?
Mr. Mayor, could you record the votes, please?
7-2.
Yeah, can
You
you?
want your votes recorded, you said?
Yes, please.
Right, thanks.
Yeah, we've been recording the other bits.
Thank you very much.
So just to clarify procedurally, is this the type of motion that does have our votes recorded regardless? Is this a state mandate?
No.
No, it's companion, I think.
Thing that we're just randomly putting up, like, because I've asked for votes to be recorded before, and we've discussed about having votes for everything. So I'm just a little bit confused that all of a sudden we're recording votes without people asking.
No, you request.
You only do it if somebody asks for their vote.
And requested it.
The votes before and the other amendments too. So this is where I'm just getting confused with this is the issue with the code of conduct. And
No, it was requested
We haven't.
Hang on, I just Councillor, I just refer.
on the screen.
Through to councillor Edwards, that's actually just my note taking with regards to the votes that won't actually be appearing in the minutes unless the councillor specifically asks for their votes to be recorded.
I think I'd like my vote to be recorded.
Yes, that's okay, yeah. And I think Councillor Tyne, did you ask for the number, did you, or not? Or do you just want to be recorded?
No, you just vote for who's not.
Right, he didn't ask for numbers.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like
yes,
my vote
Councillor.
recorded too, please. Mr. Mayor?
You mean for the vote?
Yeah, for the
I think
vote.
that automatic. I never had that one before.
Well,
I think it automatically happens, doesn't it?
No, we could do that.
All right.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right. Fair enough. That's the first one I've heard before. All right, so we're happy to move on. Maybe not happy to move on. All right, so we're moving on to operation matters.
Move that.
Just correct me if I'm wrong. 8.3.1,
269, Mr Mayor.
269 on page 269. There's a staff recommendation in front of you. You want to move that?
I'll record.
Second, Councillor Morris, thank you. Right, I've got to move in a second. Any discussion on this?
I love all those green dots, Mr Mayor.
Right, very good.
A wonderful thing.
It's looking great, isn't it? Any further discussions on the recommendation? All in favour? Oh, hang on. Sorry.
Mr Mayor, I was just going to say, while we've got the director online, it'd be good just to get a verbal update. And I was touched on earlier the amount of lots that have been pre-sold, which is encouraging. I'm just wondering, is there anything else to add to the works?
Through you, Mr Mayor, we're just waiting for the final survey to be completed before we can register the individual lots. Then those 5 lots that have been pre-sold will settle, and the others are just waiting on a couple of further bits of information in regards to exact water pressure and those sort of things. But you know, that's things that we can work on with the prospective purchasers, and I expect to see a few more sales come through in the next couple of months.
Mr Mayor, I just noticed a June 2025 completion date. I guess we're on track for that, you feel, at this point in time? Sorry, through you, Mr Mayor.
Through you, Mr Mayor, yes, we're on track for that.
Thank you.
Very good. Councillor Edwards, do you have a question?
Thank you.
Yeah, 2 questions. The first question is in regards to the subdivision. I feel like I'm just going to be asking silly questions around these questions. Where is the subdivision at? Has it already been subdivided, or am I getting my wires?
I'll put you through to the manager or director.
Through you, Mr Mayor, can you please clarify your question, Councillor Edwards?
Yep, so I might be getting my wires crossed with this one. It's just in regards to the variation to DA and subdivision. Where is that up to? Do we know? Or are we waiting for determination? Or I might be getting my wires crossed completely with this project.
There was a variation to the DA submitted a few months ago, and that's been approved.
Yep.
So we're just waiting on the final survey to come through. So to complete the vision, you then have to go through and survey it and put pegs in the ground and complete all the easements, etc. That's what we're currently waiting on, and then it'll be registered with the Lands Titles Office, and then we can sell the lots.
All good. And my second question is, I feel like it's even more silly. Is Fans Estate the only capital works major project that we have going on in our Shire? Is that a really silly? I feel like it's a really silly question.
I have a couple of words.
Through you, Mr Mayor, it's the only current capital project that's of significant scale. So before that, we had Canal Street, and that's been done and dusted. And we had Roxy Stage 1 done and dusted. And when Roxy Stage 2 comes online, that will come back to you. But at the moment, we're still waiting for the contract from the government.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I feel like that was a more silly question. I'm done with my silly question. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any more discussion or questions before we go to a vote? Right, we've had a move and a seconder, and all the discussions have been done. So all in favour? Aye. Those against? Thank you very much. Moving on to community economic and community development, which is 8.4.1 community strengthening grants. Can I have a page, someone, please?
273.
273.
I'll leave the room.
Thank you.
Or do you want me to?
And Councillor Tynan said he's going to leave the room, and Councillor Kidd, you've only nominated one, so maybe there you want to do all the rest except that one. Then Councillor Kidd,
a good idea.
And then
Do I need to move in a second for that or not?
no,
No.
just
All right, the one that you're involved with is fellow council. I'm happy to discuss all those recipients and just take out to one side the one regard to the
The football.
Football.
And which one does councillor Tynan have to?
Councillor Tynan's opted to leave the room.
Yeah.
We'll text you when we finished, Councillor Tynan.
Councillor Nardi.
Right. We're talking about, we're moving, what number is it now?
It's the very last one. Is that the walking football?
Yeah. Right. So we're discussing.
All of them except walking football.
All right, councillors, we're discussing from 1 to 10. Do we have a move and a seconder from 1 to 10? Moved by councillor Morris, seconded by councillor Wright. Any discussion on 1 to 10? All right, I take it that everybody's happy with that. All in favour? Aye. Those against? Nothing recorded. Thank you. All right, now we're going to talk about number 11, walking football in New South Wales.
Get a moment to leave the room.
Yep.
What page we're probably at about 400 or something.
Right.
Should I just, yeah,
Mine's
All right.
the,
Page number was 273.
no, for the last.
for the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Still on 27. Don't know if you go back.
Just hang on,
Just, yeah.
hang on, everybody, because there's a lot of paperwork with these grants given by the proponent. So we're just going to go through and find out
We
their.
need a mover and a second, so.
Yeah, have we got it first time?
I'll move.
Yeah, we just want to get to the page so everybody sees and reads it so we can discuss it.
495.
495 is the walking football application. I have a move and a seconder for that. Moved by councillor Wright, that's right. Second by councillor Morris. Discussion? No discussion? All in favour?
Mr. Mayor, I just like to
Comment?
comment that I'm very encouraged by the number of new kinds of physical activity that are being promoted in the community where that might appeal to people who are not comfortable in conventional sport team environments. I think it's really great that these are aimed at people in middle age like me. We're some of the unhealthiest members of the community. I think it's because we work so much. But it's really, I haven't put my hand up personally for any of them yet, but I see this sort of thing and I think it's really good that we're giving it a go. So I think it's a very good use of council money, especially at such a modest amount. So
Thank you, councillor Wright. Comments?
We just copy you on this notice.
Councillor Nardi?
So I agree with you, councillor Wright. I think from speaking with councillor Kidd at the CSG about this, they had already had over 20 numbers joined and they'd only had like maybe 2 or 3 weeks of giving it a crack. So I feel like the numbers will start to increase more and it's for men and women. So it's a good age group, but it's also for both genders, so it's great. And everyone's giving it a really good crack, and they're all apparently having really good laugh, which is great. And I think it's nice to see something else, like you said, for the community having another option for a sport that's not fast paced.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's almost a shame that we have councillor the councillor leaving the room because I'd almost like to ask him about it, but I'll have to do that later on.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. All right, so I believe we've had a discussion. Everybody in favour of that? Good. Anybody against it? Right? No, thank you. Passed, carried. Councillor Kidd, you can come back in to the. All right. Now moving on to our next item.
Need to advise councillor Tynan.
Councillor Tynan needs to come back in.
Are you doing that?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It's 500 or something.
Through you, yeah, 510.
Wait for Councillor Tynan to come back.
Through you, Mr Mayor, is somebody notifying councillor Tynan?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
He's back.
Thank you, Councillor Tynan. We're all happy to move on.
Yes.
The next item in front of us is Western Riverina Drought Resistant, item 8.4.2. Can I have a page number, please?
513, Mr Mayor.
513, page
10.
510. Any more on 510? No?
Any advice?
Right. There's a recommendation put forward by staff. Do I have a mover and a second? I have a mover, Councillor Kidd, seconded by Councillor Morris. Rightio, any discussion? Question?
Yeah, I've just got a question. I just want to understand if there's anyone who's had oversight with this plan. I just had some questions around how the plan was prepared. If there's no one really here in this room who can those particular questions, I might just so I have
Your question to the general manager.
Mr Mayor, Bill Evans is our Director of Economic and Community Development, has been personally involved with this, so can speak to it. And the actual plan has come to council previously for adoption. And so this is just getting council's endorsement around the one project. But Michelle, could you just give us an outline of how the plan was developed?
So, yeah, just
through you, Mr. Mayor. So the plan was developed through community consultation, through individual. We did surveys. We also did sessions in Leeton and Whitton for the Leeton residents, but also there were sessions done in Leeton Shire Council, in Griffith City Council and Murrumbidgee Council. And stakeholders were actually asked to comment on the plan as well. So once we did the initial consultation, we then did a second consultation as well. So before the plan was actually finalised.
Councillor Edwards, is that
was there good numbers turning up to those consults and responding to online surveys?
I think across all 4 council areas, there was around about 90 respondents.
That's all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Any more discussion or any questions of the Director?
Where to now?
Councillor Kidd. Question.
Where to now, Director?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So from here, once it's actually item 1.4 is adopted by all 4 councils, we then will move to get a consultant to actually complete the works for us.
And the consultant's paid through a grant from the government.
Good.
Thank you, General Manager.
My next question. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Kidd.
Fine with that.
Any more discussion before I put the vote? No? All right. All in favour? Aye. Those against? Carry. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is 8.4.3, Grove Juice Plant Limited, section 7.1, 7.12 development. Do we have a page, please?
572, Mr. Mayor.
572. Page 572. There is a recommendation put by staff in front of you. Do I have a move and a second for that?
Move for recommendation, Mr. Mayor.
The seconder by Councillor Nardi. Any discussion? Question, Councillor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to get an understanding on how the process is to. I'd say this is why I wish I had my actual notes in front of me instead of going through the agenda on the page.
You'd like to know how we came to that figure? Through the Director?
Yeah, how we.
Director or the General Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a flat rate applied across the Shire for every single development. If you go to page It's in the policy.
In the policy, there's a policy for
On
this.
page 580. So if there's any work being done by anyone, whether it's residential, commercial, any kind, if the works are less than 100,000, they pay nothing. If the works are between 100,000 and 200,000, they pay 0.5%. And any works over 200,000, there's a flat rate 1% applied across the Shire.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. And my second question is, where is the policy or the guidelines for if, for example, this business came and asked for a waiver, like what procedures are followed afterwards to determine whether to grant the waiver or not?
I'll go to the general manager, sure.
Through Mr. Mayor, the staff for waivering of development contributions, section 712 development contributions, that has to be a decision of council. As per the developer contribution plan, there's no delegation to staff, so that's why this is coming back to you.
Just double check.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to find it in my notes and yeah. All good, thank you.
Any more questions, Councillor? Councillor Wright, question?
I understand the reasoning behind the recommendation. I do just want to ask, if it's a waiver of $30,000 or so, that must mean it's a $3 million project. So I'm just wondering why it's not a partial waiver, because if it was below 200,000, it would be 0.5%. So why wouldn't we just charge the 0.5% instead of or why wouldn't we charge some amount that is calculated the way that the cost accrues to council for various services and whatever else?
Councillor Wright, it's our policy. That's why it comes to council to make a decision. We can enforce our policy.
No, I don't want to.
Or a council might decide to put something forward.
I'm just asking what the reasoning is, why it's either all or nothing, or why there isn't, or is it because it doesn't really cost us anything? Is that part of the reasoning why?
No, I'll refer to General Manager to give you the background of this policy that all councils have.
Through Mr. Mayor. So because council's policy is that every development pays a development contribution above $200,000, the recommendation from the staff is based on the fact that if you start to discount some people or waiver some, it then sets a precedent for everybody else, and then that'll just undermine the section 712 development contribution plan that exists. We have many people that have developed in Leeton Shire. We've got property developers, we've got schools that have developed, we've got major industries that have spent hundreds of millions of dollars collectively, and they've all paid their fees. And so on that basis, the staff are alerting council to what we believe to be a risk, that it'll set a precedent, and then council will have a lot of people asking for waivers or discounts.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I can, I might be able to clarify.
Yeah, I'll just, Councillor Wright, you okay, Councillor? I might just pass on to Councillor Kidd. I want to say a few words as well, but Councillor Kidd, you might.
I might clarify it for Councillor Wright, perhaps, because I'm interpreting the question a bit different. You can tell me if I'm wrong, Nicholas. All councils are required to have developer fees, and we set the rates. The idea with the low rate from 100,000 to 200,000, below that is usually minor domestic things. You know, somebody's putting in a shed or a garage. Between 100 and 200,000, it's a lower rate, again, because it's mainly residents rather than commercial. And it's at that lower rate. It's again, usually home renovations, something in that sort of zone between 100 and 200. So we don't want to put a burden on ordinary rate payers, and we have that slightly higher rate for commercial applications.
Thank
I
you,
hope that
Councillor.
answers.
I understand. That's a good logic. That also makes me wonder, perhaps to the Director of Development or the General Manager through you, Mr. Mayor, are those $100,000 and $200,000 threshold figures, are they indexed? How long have they been at that rate? Because by your logic, Councillor Kidd, I feel like that maybe they need
on the document.
higher.
Councillor, I can't just give a bit of back. Correct me if I'm wrong, but all councils do apply this particular section. And I think when we did ours, we were making sure that we went too high or too low to Griffith. They might go to Griffith, they might go to Narandra. And we came up with that particular figure back at that time after deliberation.
How long ago, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, in the policy document, it says 1st of June 2023 was when the current plan was adopted. But we go back to the original iteration was in 2016, Councillor Wright.
Yeah.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, to the councillor, the CPI indexation comes through the actual cost of development. So the 1% of 100,000 or the 1% of 200,000, I suppose at the end of the day, I might be misinterpreting your question, but as development costs increase, those people would slip into the higher category. But
is it a progressive tax? Is it progressively applied in the sense that the first $100,000 is not taxed for any development, or you meet the $200,000 and
that's absolutely correct. Anything that costs 100,000, and it's not strictly a tax, it's a levy. But yes,
Sure.
Anything below 100,000 has no levy applied. Anything over between 100 and 200 is 0.5%, and anything over 200 is 1%.
I just wonder because if we had set it at 200 in 2016, it seems like the cost of things, especially for residential renovation projects, have actually gone up quite a bit. I know that when I've spoken to builders locally,
it's gone up
for a renovation to cost $300,000 or more. So it's probably not part of this. It's obviously not part of this recommendation. It's not part of this discussion, but it just does. Since we're looking at those figures, I do. Is it something that we set in a policy document, or is that something that is?
Mr. Mayor, the Section 712 policy is due for review and not too far away, because mainly not so much because of a particular date, but more because many of the projects in the back, I think, have been completed. So council always has to have a refresh of what it wants to apply its levy funds to. And it's at that point in time that the policy can be altered, when that policy comes forward for review.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bit of background on why we have that.
On page 577.
On page 577.
The councillor Ryan.
Yeah, there is policy that I know the new council is coming to terms with all the different policies and how they happen and so forth. But we're happy to let you know how that we came to those terminations of those different policies that we have had. All right, so that was a question, wasn't it, Councillor Wright? I think, yes. So the motion's in front of you. Any more questions or discussions before I put the motion? No. All in favour of the recommendation? All right. Good. Those against? Thank you very much, councillors. And we're moving on to, I just lost my place. There's no notice of motions, is there? There's no notice of motion to do. That goes off. Confidential matters, we need to vote out.
Yes.
Yeah, I need a seconder that we go into a camera.
And Mr. Mayor, can you just read out?
I'll read it out
to
for you.
the Public and ask the
Yeah.
public if they have any concerns.
This is for, if agreed, we will move into confidential part of tonight's meeting for item 10.1. Council land potential sale lot 17, 18 and 19 in DP 1105-190, which is Murray Road, Stanbridge, and item 10.2, establishment of a regional panel of code of conduct reviewers. In accordance with the Local Government Act 1993 and the Local Government General Regulation 2005, in the opinion of the General Manager, the following businesses is a kind of the following business is of a kind as referred in section 10.82C of the Local Government Act 1993 on the grounds that the report could contain information that would, if disclosed, confer a commercial advantage on a person with whom the council is conducting or proposed to conduct business, and should be dealt with within a part of the meeting closed to the media and public. Does anyone agree with this dealing with this matter of confidentiality? All right. No, in that case, I'll call the mover and the seconder to move by Councillor Mason, second by Councillor Morris. Thank you. Thank you to the members in the gallery. You are now required to leave the council. I'm sorry, we're going into that part of the